Let's talk about this concept of a builder's mindset and why you need this for any role that you do in any company. Now, for those of you watching as software engineers, you're probably very familiar with this. In that world, it's called an engineer's mindset. What it really is all about is how do you solve problems and what's your process to solve problems? So, regardless of what you're doing, usually what we understand is what is that goal that we want to reach? So, what we want to build, what are the problems that we are trying to solve? What we want to do is to reverse engineer this process to then understand how do we get to this end goal. This is incredibly important. You shouldn't build anything or start a project or do anything till you have clarified all of these components, because this will actually help you build a great product at the end of this. So let's kind of break down what we need to consider. So you can see here, I've got a lovely little visual, which I'm using from Napkin AI to help me do this. Great tool. So make sure to check that out. And what we want to do is ask ourselves 4 things about any product that we're building. So 1 is, why am I building this? 2, what problem is this solving? So the so what test, and how will you build it? So basically, we could look at this as, well, we need to define the purpose, and these two really overlap. So defining the purpose and solving the problem. So we have to, at the beginning, look at and say, why does this thing even exist? Why does this product need to exist? Who is it for? What do they want? Do they need it? And then being really clear on what is the problem you're actually solving. There are too many products available that don't actually solve problems. They are just made for the sake of being made because you're able to do it. But just because you're able to build something doesn't actually mean it should exist. 2 different things. So we want to combine those 2 and think about what is the problem we're solving and why are we building this and who are we building it for? And then the so what test. So this is actually something I taken from a writing framework from a fantastic writer called Anne Hadley and put this into this process here. So the so what test is basically saying, well, okay, so what? So what if you can build this? How is that really going to change my life? How is it going to transform the things that I'm doing? This is not about features. This is about understanding what's going to be the benefits for the user. So we've already looked at the problem that we're trying to solve, but what are the benefits out of that problem? And based on doing that, what is that so what? What is that because? Why is it going to be unique? Why is it going to be valuable for people? What are you contributing to whatever industry you're building this app for? This can be really helpful later on when you start to think about positioning, when you start to look at having conversations on selling products, if you get down that far. So just saying that so what test is, I find, very powerful. And then finally, how will you build it? So how will you build it? It's not just about, what programming language am I going to use? What app am I going to use to do this? It's actually about what will the user experience be? What will the user interface be? What is the flow of that experience for your user? What kind of users will be engaging with this? How savvy are they going to be with the type of product you are building? So the first thing we want to do before anything is look into this builder's mindset. And really, I'd say this is one of these behaviors, if you want to call it that we should all look to craft. So in sum there, so we want to ask ourselves, why are we building this product? What problems is it solving? Who's it solving them for? And then the so what test. So what's so great about doing this? How is it going to help the individual? How is it going to transform them? What's the unique benefits? Now, how are you going to build it? So of course, the technology in that, but really importantly, it's around what is the interaction for the user and what is their experience. You can have a great idea, but it could be poorly executed, which is going to be useless. So first thing, craft your builder's mindset